All right. We've done straight line depreciation. We've done an example of it where we're able to work out the value of the car after a certain period of time, depending on how much it depreciates by. In this particular example, because we can do that, we can solve the equation. We can actually work out when an item falls below a particular value. Does anyone know why we might want to do that? Like if you've got a van, for instance, you can work out when it falls below $10,000. Why would you want to do that?
Sell it before it is worth it?
Absolutely. Most companies that have a fleet of vehicles renew their vehicles every now and then. There's no use running them into the ground and having them worth nothing, because then you can't trade them in and you get nothing for them. So what they tend to do is they'll get them down to like $10,000, or this example says $10,000, then they write it off. Okay, not by rolling it, not by crashing it.
My sister had to do that for her car.
Yeah, is it a leasing car or something like that, or a
No,
work car?
when they broke into her car and smashed it everywhere, she
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay. There's a difference between insurance write-off or this sort of write-off. You're right, that is a write-off. A lot of times when the damage to a vehicle becomes more than it's worth, like you might as well just replace the vehicle. They do that and they call it writing it off. So the insurance company writes it off and says it's not worth fixing. With this particular one, what they're doing is it's sort of the same, except the car's not necessarily damaged. But as it gets older, the value of the car comes down. And once it gets below $10,000, once they calculate that it's below $10,000, the company says, we'll trade these in and get new vehicles. Okay? And they write it off on their books, rather than like the insurance writes it off and you get a new one or whatever. So it's written off for tax purposes. Okay, Aiden? Are we all right? All right. So here's the example. A van for work costs 60 grand. So to buy it brand new costs $60,000. The value of the van is depreciated by $7,500 per year. When the value of the equipment falls below $10,000, it can be written off for tax purposes. In other words, it's no longer an asset. Calculate the number of years after which the equipment should be replaced. So do you know what we're trying to do?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I like an honest no. So write down your formula for a start. You're still using straight line depreciation. What's your formula?
But doesn't the order of the formula change?
It can,
We're not finding S.
it will. Well, we're not finding S this time, we've got S.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
minus the
Oh, that should be not quite a subscript. That should be up here. Well, you've got two choices. You can rearrange the formula and then substitute in, or you can substitute in and rearrange it while you're doing it. It's normally easier to deal with the formula you know. Substitute into that and then just do it. Okay? So the second thing we do is we write down what we know. Do we know what S is? In this particular question we do. Can you work out what S is based on the question?
Wait, what's S again?
S is salvage value. Salvage value is the value of the car after it's depreciated. These are all in your notes. These are not words that I'm making up. It's in your notes. What is it, Jake? 10 grand. Because that's when they're going to write it off. We want to know when the value hits $10,000. Do we know what the VO is? What the initial value is?
45.
60,000.
Jake didn't research.
I can fill several volumes with things
It's
Jake
not,
doesn't
it
know.
was my memory, but
No, that's what it is. It's not your fault. Okay, what is D? What's our depreciation?
circumstance.
$7,500. And N, in this case, is our question mark. That's the one we don't know. So we're now going to substitute in. Now Jacob's right. Normally we've been substituting in and finding S. This time we're going to substitute in, we're going to try and find N. But let's substitute in and then work out what we need to do. So we've got $10,000 equals 60,000 minus, I'm going to run out of space, 7,500 times N. 10,000 is the salvage value. That's where we want to find out when it gets to it. 60,000 is the initial price, the purchase price. 7,500, excuse me, is the 7,500.
7,500.
Sorry,
Oh, don't worry, no, don't
7,000 is 7,500.
Don't worry.
Same thing, isn't it?
Is it
7,500.
What are you going to do?
is it n equals
7,500.
10,000 plus 60,000
Oh yeah, but I didn't realise.
divided by 7,000?
You confused the hell out of me. Do one step at a time. What are you going to do? You want to get n on its own. So what are you going to get rid of first?
The 60,000.
What do we do to get rid of it?
Oh, that's
Well, yeah, negative 60,000. Then both sides got a negative number.
Yes.
And then you're going to times it by like, and then you're going to add 7,500.
I don't have
But it's negative, still going to get 50,000. You have to times it. Negative 50,000 equals negative 75,000. That's 7,500.
All we've done is take off the 60,000.
Then you got to add 7,000.
Now,
Wait,
That's
let
a
me
very
catch up,
depreciated
Is
car.
it just talking?
all we've done, that's an equal, sorry, it's gone crappy again.
Minus, it's like,
All we've done,
You have to, like, when you go to see your car, you have to pay the 50,000. That's pretty depreciated.
all we've done is get rid of the 60,000. Okay? That was plus 60,000, it's a positive. So to get rid of it, we took it off. Now, we're left with minus 50,000 equals minus 7,500 times n. How do we get rid of the minus 7,500? Because remember, it's times n. It's times n. How do we get rid of it? Divide. So we divide by minus 7,500. And we do that to both sides.
I'm glad we did it.
Okay? This is the same stuff we've done in AM. Okay? All we're doing is getting n by itself. Okay? So that dividing by minus 7,500 will give us equals n. So we're at the right spot. Now, what's minus 50,000 divided by minus 7,500? No, it's not.
Give me a minute.
Two minuses.
1 minute. Positive.
6.6.
Equals.
So that's your n value. So that's how many years it takes to hit $10,000. So what is your answer going to be? You've got to give a written answer. So give me a sentence. You've worked out that in 6.6 years the value of the van will be $10,000. That's what we've sold. What we've worked out. We knew the salvage value was 10 grand. We've worked out how long it takes to get to 10 grand, depreciating by $7,500 a year.
It takes 6.6 years.
Excellent. But they wanted to know. You've got to remember what's the question asking. It says, what year, after how many years, would they write off the van?
After 6.6.
Yeah, but let's not deal with half years and 0.6 years. Go to the next one up. So after 7 years, because they don't do it halfway through the year. So you're spot on at 6.6 years, but let's round it up and say, okay, after 7 years. That makes sense? Because you work it out at the end of the tax year. So when they get to their tax year after the 7th year, they'll be able to say, hey, we can write it off. All good with that? It's all the same stuff that we've done. You just got to rearrange things.